Hey, this is John Ambrose, and I wanted to give you an inside view here of what I actually do. As my wife says, what I do during the day. So I'm sitting in a motion simulator cockpit in which, for this video, I'm not going to have the motion actually on because of the extreme noise and the squeaking and the background issues. So the simulator will be off, but I am sitting in a cockpit that is a replica of an actual Daytona prototype car that we'll be running this weekend for the 51st Rolex race at Daytona. So everything that you see here, gauges, switches, gear shift, is actually what you'll see in a real race car, and the layout of it. So I'm going to take you for a lap here around Daytona, exiting pit lane at a relatively slow speed, and maybe kind of talk to you some more on what I actually do. So here we go. Turn this down so you can hear me. Alright, so right now we're leaving the pit lane, and basically the software that I'm using here, they actually go out and scan these tracks. They are precise down to the intogen, and when I mean intogen, I mean every blade of grass, every bump. This track that we're actually running is 3.5 miles, and it's probably down to 1 millimeter science as far as accuracy. So they've done a really good job, and basically what I do is I work with the race teams, and they give me the data from the car, from everything from the engine to the shocks to the travel of the suspension, and then I take that data and work with it in the confines of the rules and regulations to make them go faster. So that's what the simulator's for. I use several key softwares. One of them is Motec, and the other one is Optima G, and it gives me the ability to work one-on-one with the crews, drivers, engineers, and test certain scenarios, make things better, see how things work in different environments, and so the accuracy of this, the simulator and the softwares I use are pretty much 99.5%. There's certain things that I can't control, like weather and so forth, but there's ways around that. So anyway, we're taking a lap here around Daytona International Speedway. We're actually on the back straightaway. We're going through the bus stop area. These cars here, you'll get up to speeds of 200 miles an hour. They actually use two parts of this racetrack, the banked oval or the NASCAR oval, and the inner road course, and that creates the 3.5 mile distance. So we're coming up to the start finish line here. Right here you're going to be up to about 190, 195 miles an hour, 200 plus in a draft. And this is where it differs. We're going to come into the road course of Daytona Speedway, coming down from 5th gear, 195 mile an hour, to 1st gear, about 65. And then you have this jog of turns right here. You can come up to 3rd gear. This is a good passing zone as well. This is the International Horseshoe. And it's real tight, 180-degree turn. Coming up to the second part of the road course, we're going to be going up to 4th gear, about 155, 160 miles an hour, and back down to 1st gear. Now, this corner is a little tricky because it has actually two apexes. You've got one right here, and then you need to kind of let the car drift out and then come back down. A lot of cars will get in trouble right there. Just a little short shoot. We'll get up to 3rd gear, back down to 1st. This is where we enter the NASCAR oval, the NASCAR banking. This is turn 1 of the NASCAR track. And we'll get up to 5th gear here. Coming in turn 4. Right now I'm doing about 130 miles an hour, but we'll get up to about 185 here. This is the back straightaway. This is a good passing zone as well. But this is the difficult part of this track. This is the bus stop. You're going to go from 185 down to about 100, but the G-force load is so heavy here that you tend to lose mechanical grip and a lot of setup issues relating to that specific part of the track. You come out of the bus stop. There's turn 3 of the NASCAR banking. Turn 4. And there again, coming down the front straightaway, we're going to be hitting 200 plus in a draft, about 190 independently, and then we hit the start-finish line. And then we enter back into the road course. So that's a quick lap around Daytona International Speedway. And now what I'll do is I'll get out and I'm going to do a mock run and try not to talk much on it. I may yell out a few things, but I hope you... Okay, so here we are at the end of pit road, and I'm going to do a full, probably lap and a half mock run at full speeds. So real briefly, just to point out a few things, up here is the in-car telemetry that they actually see, and that actually you're looking at. You know, you can see the gear change indicator here, as well as your speed in miles per hour, your water temperature. And over here, this is something that I personally use. They don't actually have this in a real race car, but this helps me look at different things, delta time and section and split times, sector times throughout the racetrack. So I can tell where I'm getting slower or faster or maintaining the same speed. So here's a little G-force meter that's pretty nifty, and so you can kind of see the G loads of the car and the driver. Once again, I'm not going to have the simulator on just because it's too loud, and I'll kind of talk through it. So hope you enjoy it. We're at this time we're going to do the night version of the track because this is a 24-hour race, and we start in the day. We go through the night and we end during the afternoon of the next day. So we transition from sunset to darkness to sunrise. So you can kind of get a different perspective of what this track looks like at night in this portion of the video. So here we go. I'm going to turn it up a little loud, and hope you enjoy it. Leaving pit lane here, real tight. Entering the track. Here we go. Here's the 180 horseshoe. Turn here. First gear, second, third, right down to first. Now, as we enter the NASCAR banking, it's a good place to kind of catch your breath and get a drink of water. Obviously, fatigue sets in after 24 hours. Here we come up to the bus stop. rear brake. Daytona. Okay, so just to show you briefly what the data looks like when I import it into the program Motec. This is actual data from the real race car this afternoon, and this is basically my overview from tires to ground clearances to wheel spins to shock travels to chassis travels, bump stop. I can look at what part of the track that they're getting wheel spin in, and how much throttle they're giving at that specific time, to kind of determine what we need to do to compensate or correct. And there's different parameters here. Suspensions, that's your shocks. I can check their braking points. This is the actual track. I can see, at what part of the track they're, how much brake they're using, how hot that brake's getting. Each tire is independent, so I can tell what the right front's doing compared to the left rear, and vice versa. So this kind of gives me a chart. Tells me the peak of the brake temperature and how much brake pedal they're putting, engaging. So this kind of helps me determine what areas that we can look at and fix. And corner loads of the car, the travel of the car in inches, what the maximum and minimums are. So this is just a brief quick look at one of the programs that I use. The other is Optimum G, and I'm not going to show you that just because well, I want to keep my job, and it's Greek to you, so it's Greek to me sometimes. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and maybe we'll do these again.